Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome you to the Fellowship of Spirit Zoom meeting. And today is the 9th of January in the year 2022. I've not gotten used to that. I know you probably already have, but it takes me a while to get used to the new number every year, 22. Who would have knew I lived this long? But anyway, I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad you're here. And I hope that you enjoy our service. My name is Ron Holloway, and I'll be your moderator today. So anyway, we have an exciting, dynamic program for you today. Steve Barker is going to read us a spiritual reading. Fred Brown is going to do our main message, and he's also going to play music for us. So we're kind of double blessed today because Fred is here and he's prepared to do all sorts of stuff. So we're happy about that. Sure. Does someone, we have any announcements at the first? We'll have announcements at the end again, but is there anything that we need to announce now, Jerry?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So would someone like to offer us up an opening prayer? Well, Father, Mother God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come together. We thank you for the Zoom that we can come together, even though it is not safe for us to be together in person. We thank you for this mode to be able to stay connected and to see each other and hear each other. And it's the marvels of technology that have been provided for us. We are very, very grateful for. We ask that you would help us to be attentive and to grow in our learnings today as we bring a message of hope and love and togetherness. Amen. Okay, we're open. So Steve, would you like to read us something? Are you ready?
Yeah, just a second here. Let me get this set up. I know this is too much information, but I'm attending church in the bathtub today.
I was going to ask you, please don't drop your paper in the water. It will be hard to read afterwards.
That's it. So, but anyway, here's the reading for today. It's from a column in the Science of Mind for this month by Reverend Andriette Earl. And she's founding spiritual leader of Heart and Soul Center of Light in Oakland, California. And it's called New Year, New Me. Second, one more little setup here. As I write another New Year's resolution, my heart overflows with gratitude for, well, everything. Every life experience offered its unique blessing. Some experiences resulted in manifested prayer. Others appeared as my most or as my worst fear. All morphed into whatever was required to reveal a greater truth, crack open my heart, forgive myself, or accept what I had been resisting. I am grateful, especially in this new year, to celebrate the divine wonder of life, my life. I did not always know I could or would be here in peace, a deep inner peace, here in self-acceptance, here in joy, here in living as love in progress. There was a time when I could not have imagined this day, these feelings, and this knowing. I could not have begun to fathom my current life or even being alive. I could not see through the pain to envision my present joy. I was struck, deeply struck, in self-loathing and a sense that I had no right to love or even to exist. Ultimately, when I felt too difficult to go on, I attempted suicide twice. Both attempts were made before I was even 21. Excuse me. I have tremendous empathy for my young self, how she saw her world and held herself in a limited consciousness. Her life felt threatening, complicated, and doomed. She knew nothing of the principles I now study, practice, and share. I now know I am, and that who I am matters. I know whose I am. I could not access this truth back then. I had to first see me through empathy, compassion, and love before I could fully comprehend, accept, and begin intentionally applying the spiritual principle. I invoke Holmes' words. The law knows us only as we first know ourselves. We make up its mind because its mind is subjective. I have direct access to the limitless wonder of the universe, and thanks to this teaching, I know God is love, and the rest is ever expanding love. I give thanks for a new year, a new me. And I would like to add to this reading that I personally am humbly through the years, especially this last, what a gift being wrong can be. As long as I have and continue to develop the ability to recognize and acknowledge being wrong. Once I do that, the doors to learning and understanding are flung wide open. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Steve. So our brother Fred Brown today is with us, and Fred is originally from El Paso, Texas. He's lived in the Four Corners for 20 years and been a member of Fellowship of Spirit for 10 years, maybe longer. This was written about a year or so ago. Primarily a self-taught musician who writes, sings, and plays percussions, keyboards, and guitar. A former co-owner of DK Systems and manager of TNT Office Source. A former assistant pastor of an evangelical Christian organization. He's currently a practicing New Thought philosopher and hopeful pragmatist, bilingual. He's also a pretty good looking fellow and he has a great voice. So we're proud to have him. He was in the Navy. He was from December 87 until December of 1990. He was a communications specialist and he served honorably. And we're grateful that he was able to complete that and come back to us whole and uninjured, at least physically. And so we thank you, Fred, for your service. So if you could put your hands together and welcome Fred Brown, who's going to sing us a song.
Hey guys, can you hear me well?
I can hear you fine.
Right on. Okay.
But let me see who is, everybody is already muted, so we're in good shape. Go for it, Fred.
All right. I'm kind of improvising today. I lost my early in the week. I came back home and my nieces and nephews had been in my at my mom's house. That's where I'm staying right now, and they got a hold of my laptop and broke one of the hinges off of it, and so. Know how to fix that stuff. So I tore it all apart and I was up, getting it all together. And then I made a cardinal mistake of technicians is I forgot to look for all the screws before I put it back together. I was missing one screw. When I turned it on, well, that screw shorted out the part of the motherboard and I didn't have a laptop any longer. You'd think after 30 years of being a technician, I would double check things like that. But, we get busy. So anyway, I was able to cobble together a laptop and a web camera and a microphone. And so we'll do a few songs. I'm going to do something that's easier for me to do because I didn't have a lot of time to practice this morning. So but it's a song you guys know well. Where You're Loved by Like Heaven by Donovan. color sky, Russian blue, scarlet fleece changes view, crimson ball sinks from view. Where you love like heaven, where you love like heaven, where you love like heaven. Oh Lord, kiss me once more, fill me with song, la la. Kiss me once more, that I may wear my love like heaven, wear my love like heaven. Oh, color sky, Havana Lake, color rose, Carminthian, Elysian, crimson. Oh, where you love like heaven, where you love like heaven. Oh, where you love like heaven. Oh, Lord, kiss me once more, fill me with song, la la. Kiss me once more, that I may wear my love like heaven, wear my love like heaven, wear my love like heaven. Oh, cannot believe what I see. All I wish for will be all I race, proud and free. Yeah, where you love like heaven, where you love like heaven, yeah, where you love like heaven. Oh Lord, kiss me once more, fill me with song, kiss me once more, that I may wear my love like, wear my love like heaven, where your love is like heaven, where your love is like heaven.
Thank you, Fred. You know what? Your makeshift stuff might have been your best performance yet. I mean, as far as the technical of it, your microphone is working great.
Right on.
All right. So, Fred, can you tell me what is the title of your talk, or do you have one? Oh, you muted.
If you'll share the screen, what I planned on talking about was the Tao Te Ching. And I know people don't, it's not something that we go over a lot, but it's something that I started studying 15 years ago or so when I started getting into looking at Eastern philosophy and Eastern belief systems. The Tao Te Ching is probably the foundational writing, not the only, of Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu was a philosopher in China, about 500, and he was born or lived somewhere around 575 BC in our time. In his time, it'd be somewhere around the year, I would say, 1350 in the Chinese calendar. To get it contemporary get his writings and his life contemporary with things that we understand. If you come forward about a generation, you'll find Confucius. So if you go down into India, about the same time was the life of Buddha. So a lot of people think of Chinese philosophy and Buddhism as the same, but actually Buddhism is from India, northern India. And it arises from the Hindu belief system. In China, they have a mixture, or before that, I guess you'd say before the classical time, they had a mixture of pagan belief systems, like most all cultures do. And but the philosophy of Tao started beginning probably about what you'd say about 400 or 500 years before even Lao Tzu. But anyway, to get into the Tao Te Ching, we'll come forward here. The real thing I find interesting is because China's a lot in the news nowadays. People, I think, have a very limited understanding of Chinese culture, society in general. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of look into this a little bit of what the Tao is, what the Tao Te Ching is. And so if you've shared my screen, did you do that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
at first, I'm going to go with, I'll show you where a lot of the stuff that I use as a reference because it's been simplified. And this is a book that you can pick up pretty much anyway. I think there may be one in the church, but this is it right here. It's kind of backwards, but that's Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu. It's a Shambhala classic. It's got a pretty good translation that was done by a Chinese individual in the 20s and 30s. Of course, translation is everything. But to go from the forward, I'm going to read you something here. So it'll paraphrase kind of what the Tao Te Ching is. The Tao Te Ching was written in the morning of the human race and still bears the freshness of the morning upon it. It exhibits a rush of language, a boldness and exuberance of expression for which paradox is the only adequate form. Hence, one who expects to find in it reasoned, chain-like sequence of thought will be very disappointed. For the Taoists, reality was beyond measurement, but not beyond apprehension by a mind that is still. The book's greatest gift, or the writing's greatest gift in this man's view, Arthur W. Hummel, he was writing this for the Library of Congress in 1962. In my mind, is its mind-stretching quality. It challenges at every turn to expand our view of our lives' possibilities. Both Confucianism and Taoism complement each other, however incompatible they may seem at first to be. And he's saying this because Confucius' writings were primarily moral and ethical guides for rulers to take care of their people. So anyway, the former places a man, Confucianism, in his proper relation to his fellow man. Taoism places a man in proper relation to nature. A third philosophy that came into China later, Buddhism, though introduced from India, deals with the problem of human suffering and with man's ultimate destiny therein. These three inheritances, the first, adjusting man to his fellow man in Confucius' teachings, the second, in Taoism, man's place to nature, and the third, to the absolute in Buddhism, have molded the thinking not only of the Chinese people, but pretty much everybody in Eastern Asia. There is truth then in the common saying that every Chinese wears a Confucian hat, a Taoist robe, and Buddhist sandals. So, whereas Confucius counseled his people to labor untiringly for the welfare and dignity of man in society, Lao Tzu and his disciple Zhuangzi, on the other hand, cautioned man against excessive interference. In their view, the urge to change what by nature is already good only will increase the total sum unhappiness of man. These two urges, on the one hand to do something, on the other hand not to do too much, are ever contending in our natures as human beings. The man who can maintain, or the woman, a just balance between them both is on the road to social and intellectual maturity. Though Taoism by its nature is not a philosophy that could be well carried out in government, it nonetheless became the inspiration of almost all of Chinese literature and nearly all of Chinese art. It provided what you would call here in American culture, the Waldens of moment. The dialectical man needs to restore his sense of wonder and repose. Only the free, unfettered Taoist mind bent on enjoying nature as well as conquering her was able to engender in China a pure landscape of art 1,000 years before landscape art in the Western culture. Thanks to both Taoist and Zen influences, Japanese landscape art is now loved by everybody in Europe for the last 600 years. The skill in an apportionment of space, economy of line, and of sparse color. Freedom and spontaneity and choice of subject and treatment are all marks of Taoist thinking. The Tao Te Ching consists of 81 chapters divided into two parts, the upper part and the lower part. The upper part, chapters 1 through 37, the classic of Tao. The lower part, chapters 38 to 81, is known as the Te Ching, or the classic of virtue. The Tao Te Ching and the Te Ching constitute the complete work, the Tao Te Ching. So, of course, it'd be pedantic to go through all of it, but I think there's a few passages that really relate to a lot of the thinking in science of mind and in things of that nature. So let me see if I've got my screen shared. All right, so we're going to go here to a PDF that I got. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to hit a few of the verses in the Tao. The Te Ching, like I said, it's a little bit more about the kind of how your relation to Tao is. So we're going to go through the first, what I like, and some of the passages that speak to me in the first upper part of the Tao. So the first one, which is interesting to start with, of course, because it kind of sets the mindset, is this one. And as you can read, it says, the Tao that can be described is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be spoken is not the eternal name. The nameless is the boundary of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of creation. Freed from desire, you can see the hidden mystery. But by having desire, you can only see what is visibly real. Yet mystery and reality emerge from the same source, though they are named differently. This source is called darkness. Darkness born from darkness is the beginning of all understanding. Let's go to 11. "30 spokes are joined together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that allows the whole wheel to function. We mold empty clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside the pot that makes the vessel useful. We fashion wood for a house, but the emptiness inside the house is what makes it livable. We work with the things that we can touch, the substantial, but the emptiness is what we truly use." "24. Those who stand on tiptoes do not stand firmly. Those who rush ahead don't get very far. Those who try to outshine others dim their own light. Those who call themselves righteous can't know how truly wrong they are. Those who boast of their accomplishments diminish the things they have truly done. Compared to the Tao, these actions are all unworthy. If we were to follow the Tao, we must not do these things." This one has some very, very familiar ecclesiastical dualities. 29. Do you want to rule the world and control it? This thing can never be done. The world is a sacred vessel and it cannot be controlled. You will only make it worse if you even try. It may slip through your fingers and disappear like water. Some are meant to lead, others are meant to follow. Some must always strain, and others have an easy time. Some are naturally big and strong, and others will always be small. Some will be protected and nurtured, and others will be met with destruction. The master of Tao accepts things as they are, and out of compassion avoids extravagance, excesses, and the extremes. So there's, odes of the Ecclesiastes, when it's talking about everything's vanity under the sun, where it says, I have ruled all my life and I've seen the righteous torn down and I have seen the unrighteous exalted. So these ideas of one and the same duality have existed in philosophy, whether it's in the Middle East or whether it's in the East. We'll go back to 33, which I find always interesting. And I like that this is the way this older translation is, which is a little bit more, I guess you'd say, British. It says, he who knows others is intelligent, but those who know themselves are truly wise. Those who master others surely are strong, but those who master themselves have true power. Those who know they have enough are the truly wealthy, and those who persist will reach their goal. Those who keep their course will have strong will, and those who embrace death will not perish, but have life everlasting. Interesting. You know how we always think that, I guess I find that in the Western world, we tend to be very, I guess you'd say, myopic in the belief that our philosophies are the ones that are original to us, but they really aren't. I think the human condition, as you step back, as Steve was sharing, and start applying the truth, the Tao, to your life, that's when you actually find eternal truth. It doesn't matter where it may come from, whether it's written in the Tanakh, the Torah, what we call the Bible, Course of Miracles, goodness and God, the right way, the truth, as Buddha said, will always be eternal, just like the sun and the moon. It always comes. It always expresses itself, whether it's in China 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. So, and I find it very, I used to wake up every day and keep this book, actually, or a copy of it. This is probably my third copy of this book. And I'd read a little bit of the Tao every day, because it would set your mind a little bit in a bigger picture. Because we tend to get, especially nowadays in this very difficult time of isolation and fear. And, I mean, we're always having to worry about exposure to this or that, and the political climate and the change of economy and everything. It's always nice to sit down and read something that'll recenter you and show you your place, that the Tao is eternal, that truth is eternal. And then not living in duality is really the way, right? So anyway, I would encourage you all to go pick up a copy, whichever copy. Like I said, this is from Shambhala. The translation was done in the 60s. The one we read here, the translation was obviously done much more modern. So, and you get a little bit different iterations due to, I guess you'd say, the change in the English language. So that's really all I got. Get into the Tao, and its mysteries will start opening up to you. Namaste. You guys got any questions?
Yeah. I'm going to turn off your sharing so we can see you, so we can talk to you.
I don't know how you turn it off.
You just,
Oh, there it is. Here it is.
you have to do it. Yeah, there you go. There you are. Yeah.
I
Technology.
particularly liked chapter 11 about the emptiness, of whatever, like the vessel or the house that we fill with what we particularly like that. I'm going to go look that book up and look at it. I like that.
It is
I
interesting.
think I
how
looked
it
at
talks-
it.
Yeah, there's language about water in several chapters of how the Tao is like water.
Mhm.
And if you one of the very interesting I mean, a lot of people know, I'm sure we're all familiar with Bruce Lee, but he actually had a book that he wrote, actually a couple of books, but one of his early books, he wrote about his philosophy in Kung Fu. And as in the Tao, if you read several chapters in the Tao and in the Tai Ching, it talks about the Tao being like water, the truth being like water. It goes where it's going to go. It will make its own path. It will reside in places that you can't even go. Water is always there. It will, it nourishes, and also it erodes. It takes and it gives, so it talks about water. And Bruce Lee loved to describe, or not loved, but was off to describe his philosophy and his true nature of Kung Fu as being like water, and being able to move and to change and to adapt and to always exist. Because when you really think about water, even though we know it, and you think the word water, you think of, I don't know what comes to your mind, but I think of a river or a stream, or maybe even a glass of water, or a water running out of a tap. But literally water is everywhere. It's in the air around you. It is in the oxygen that we breathe. This entire planet is a planet of water. We are, I don't remember, I'm sure Jim's mind works better than mine, but I think we're something like 89, 90 something percent water as human beings. So I don't know. That's somebody's phone is on. Anyway, yes, the Tao. There's a lot of good stuff in here. A lot of good stuff in the Tao. So.
It's a collection of a lot of wisdom and useful knowledge that, even though it was written thousands of years ago today, you can apply it to your life today. You can use it, and it's kind of like the synchronicity of all of our services, in that whatever you read in the morning, you will find useful during the day. That's been my experience. I was introduced to it years ago by my daughter, who she's a martial artist that is studied a lot of that stuff, and all of them are all short, and they're packed with wisdom. There's none of them that is really long and and really open to a lot of misinterpretation. They are very to the point, and are very succinct in that way.
Yeah, I think even in the translations, I've seen 4 or 5 different translations over the years of several of these passages. But yet, since the symbols in Chinese, this is a very interesting thing too. Speaking of language, I realized this just recently, a couple of months ago, when I was talking to a Chinese person, actually trying to communicate with somebody from China, from Hong Kong, on Facebook, and they were using a translation app to be able to talk to me and to write to me. And it was very interesting in seeing how comments about like pictures that I posted on Instagram and things like that, how that would come across in the translation. And we were kind of joking with each other a little bit, because how funny some of the things that she would write, and then her husband would write, and the way that they'd come out on a message, and I'd have to like, well, I think this is what you actually meant to say. And it was very easy, I guess you could say, to misinterpret things that were written due to the translation. But what I soon, after a couple of sessions of chatting with these folks, realized something about our language system, the Latin language system, versus the symbolic characters of Chinese, where we, in the Latin etymology, we have symbols that you can rearrange phonetically to communicate. In Chinese, they have characters that represent the phonetic language, so that the characters, no matter what the language in China may be, the spoken language, the characters are the same across all regions. So whether they speak Mandarin, they speak Cantonese, or whatever, they all can read the same language because it's a character-based language that then can be turned into a phonetic-based communication system. So it's actually the opposite of our entire language system. Not only that, they read right to left, back to front. They read the book from this side. Not the way we read a book this side. So everything, in a sense, is inverted in their experience as far as communication. Which I don't know, it's just an interesting observation.
It is interesting how different cultures have experienced the world and then tried to express it, in written language and in art, in music, and all those things. That's why we're different parts of the world that developed at different times. They're all trying to describe the experience here on this planet in one way or another. And yeah, they have changed. If you take the Aramaic Bible, and it has the what is it, the George Lambda Bible, that has it's got the Bible in the original Aramaic
Scrolls
and the Greek, and then the Gutenberg Bible, or whatever, the King James Bible, all of them. And you can read the three passages, and each one of them will have completely different meanings, even though it was there because of the translation.
And the writer.
Oh yeah. Oh, everybody, they all put their own prejudices and experience on their personal mark.
Well, the human experience. I mean, it's almost like music. One thing I've learned over the years, there is no original music. There is just original ways of arranging and performing music. Everything that I've learned over the years is built off of thousands, maybe millions of hours. This instrument alone, the engineering and the millions of hours of human engineering that created this instrument. I can't create anything any different on this thing. All I can do is let it come out from me. Mm-hmm. And in my own particular way, and in my own particular time, and in my own particular I should say experience. So all of life is very subjective, correct?
It's all personal.
We try to find communication in ways, objective ways to communicate with each other, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else have anything for Fred? Well, Fred, do you want to use that instrument to play us another song?
I'll try.
There you go.
Let's see here. Well, why not? Someone falls to pieces, sleeping all alone. Someone kills the pain, spinning in the silence. She finally drifts away. Someone gets excited in a chapel yard, catches up okay. Another lays a dozen white roses on a grave. Yeah, to be yourself is all that you can do. Yeah, to be yourself is all that you can do. Someone finds salvation in everyone, other only pain. Someone tries to hide himself, deep inside himself he prays. Someone says there's true love until the end of time. Another runs away, separate or united, healthy or insane. Be yourself is all that you can do. Yeah, be yourself is all that you can do. Yeah, and you've been paid enough. I've been pulled apart, I've been held up. Every single memory of good or bad faces of love. Don't lose any sleep tonight. I'm sure everything will end up alright. You may win or lose, but to be yourself, all that you can do. Yeah, to be yourself is all that you can do. Yeah, to be yourself, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself is all that you can do. Oh yeah. Be yourself.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you so much.
Boy,
Well,
what a 1-2 punch there with the sermon and the singing.
yeah, that's what I
Fred,
was,
you have really grown before my eyes since I've been here.
well, that's what I was talking about, being double blessed by Brother Fred. Yeah, yeah. And I was
My
thinking,
pleasure.
when I was thinking, it was, you know, that when when the world's heavy on you and you can come together with people, we can multiply our blessings and divide our sorrows when we are together in love. And that's so true of fellowship. So I always feel stronger when I leave than when I got here, and my burden is not near as heavy as it used to be. So, and that's a successful meeting. It was a successful day, and today is no exception. So we have Pat with us today. Was this your first time with us, Pat?
I haven't been to the church for a long time, actually. I live part-time in Hawaii. In fact, that's where I am right now.
Uh-huh.
But I live in Hesperus. I have a house in Hesperus.
Uh-huh.
And I think, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the other Fred Brown,
Yeah.
who does live close by me in Hesperus. He lives down in the Shenandoah development, but it's wonderful. And I thank so much, Frederick Brown, for your music and for your message. I want to look into Taoism. So thank you so much for that.
I
My
suspected
pleasure.
you may have had him confused with someone else, but I didn't want to say for sure. But
Yeah,
I
no
knew
problem.
Fred
It's
lived.
good to
Anyway,
meet somebody new. It's
Yeah.
good to meet someone new. Thank you.
so we are truly international. You know, we have a lady here from Belize. We now have one from Hawaii. If Mark Wolf was here, we'd have someone from Kentucky, and and we have California people come, and that's all, only because of Zoom. If we hadn't had this cotton picking pandemic, we would not be here today to enjoy all this stuff. So there's blessings out of even the most difficult of times. So this is really, really good. I'm glad that you're with us, Pat, and that are you on our list? Do you get our communications about our meetings?
I sure do. Thank you so much.
All right, great.
Yeah, I
We
have.
hope that you'll come back and share with us. So that's really good.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Now, I do know the only announcement that I know of, other than our standard announcements, is that next Sunday, after the meeting, we will have our board meeting next Sunday. Okay, so if you're a board member, please set aside, it won't take long to do, and we'll decide whether we're going to try. Hopefully we will have enough information to determine when we can get back in our in-person church. We still have our church, Pat, and it's been upgraded and we have it, but we do not plan to limit ourselves to in-person meeting. We plan to go hybrid even when we get back in the church, so that our faraway members can join with us. So we're still going to be available to you, even though when we get back into the church. But we miss each other. We miss being able to touch each other and to be able to get hugs and be able to see each other in person. And hopefully we will be able to see that. Be able to do it. We're going to talk about that next Sunday. Is there anything else, Jerry, that you have?
Make sure that you get by there and get your calendars. They're on the left-hand side of the porch in a box.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. If you didn't know, we have Course in Miracles on Wednesday evenings at 6 o'clock, led by Susan Barnes. On Thursday nights at 6:30, we have the Power of 8 meeting led by Margaret Chusebro, who that's our prayer group. That's where we send out our light and love and our energy to those who are having a difficult time. We average about 20 people that we do this for. It's for by request, and whether someone has requested us to pray for someone, or someone has asked for prayers for themselves, and we don't really care. But we wouldn't do it if someone didn't authorize us to do that. So we average about 20 people, and it's a growing thing. Some people get better and they drop off, and others add on. And but anyway, if you would like to participate in that and be one of the people who are praying for other people, please join us at 6:30 on Thursday evenings. It's every Thursday. Would you like to say anything, Susan? Let me find
Listen, I'm really glad that you're going to keep the platform so that we can continue, because this really is very meaningful to me. And Pat, I'm the one from Belize. And so so I really am so grateful that you are going to keep it this way, and that I can keep joining you on Sundays. And if I'm going in and out, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's patients that come by or something. So.
Yeah. Well, it's just a miracle that we can do this in real time. And if there's little glitches, so be it. But, things are not perfect, but they are certainly way better than they used to be.
Well, okay, now, Ron, I'm going to go back to say everything, absolutely everything is in divine order.
Yes, but what I'm talking about, the quality of our transmission, prior to the internet and prior to Zoom, you could holler out all day long if you were in Belize. We couldn't hear you at all up here. So it is much better than it used to be. And but sometimes there are low bandwidths, and so we have to deal with those technological glitches, not that they're bad or good, but they do exist.
I'm just glad you're there.
I'm glad you're there. Thank you, Susan. Margaret, would you like to say a word?
Well, I just like to say that when we get together for Power of Eight, we are all one with the healing power of God. And we're all connected. And as we send out healing light for others, it comes back to us. And sometimes we have to really be extra aware of what is going on, because we are getting blessings as we send out healing light to others. So it's a mutual beneficial society because we're all connected.
Absolutely. Thank you, Margaret. I have someone new to add, so I'll talk to you on the phone about that later.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and on Sunday mornings at 8:45, we have a book study group. And right now we are studying Destiny of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. We're really enjoying it. It just we did the first book, Journey of Souls, and now we're doing Destiny of Souls, and we're all enjoying it. So if you want to come to that, you are certainly welcome. Anyone else have anything else that they would like to share today?
Just that if you are inclined to send a tithe into the church, the address is 2009 East 13th, Farmington, New Mexico, 87401. I go by and check the mail. It is a locked box, and so it is generally check it 3 times a week. So thank you all for what you do. Oh, also, I'm going to be sending you an email with your tithe receipt in it, because I'm not going to snail mail them out this year. So if you want to print it out, please go ahead. If you're not interested in it, delete it, whatever, but I won't be mailing them, snail mailing them. I'll be emailing them probably next week sometime.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jerry. I want to thank Brother Fred for his message and his music once again. And we thank all of our presenters. We have no minister. We have many people, and we are always looking for new people who want to share something. It doesn't matter really what, if it's of a spiritual nature, it's appropriate. I've just kind of booked a lady who I've known for quite a while, but she's a Wicca priestess, and she's going to tell us about the Wicca religion at the end of February. So you can look forward to that, because it'll be an interesting thing. It's an ancient religion, and maybe the basis of maybe all of Western religions anyway. So that we can look forward to that. But if you have something you'd like to share, just get in touch with Jerry or me or someone, and let us know that you would like to be to do a presentation. You don't have to sign up forever or do it every 4th week or anything like that. Just whatever you feel comfortable with is what we want. We're about comfort and ease. We don't like conflict and distress. So that's what we're about. All right. So anyone want to offer a closing prayer? Well, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come together. We thank you for Brother Fred, Brother Steve, who shared with us today. We ask that you would protect us in all of our doings, all of our goings in and out. And as we travel this journey, this life that you have given us, this school that we have to grow spiritually, we ask that you would help us along that journey and increase our awareness as we travel this road. And until we meet again, keep us and bless us. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. I'm going to turn off the recording.